I have another idea. Now I know what you're thinking, aren't those guys brackish water fish? Technically, sure, they can be. They do great in freshwater, brackish water, or full marine. These are the scats, the monos, as well as the archer fish. And based off of these specific types, I can kind of transition them however I've wanted. However, the 375 has been sitting there empty for months on end. And while we set up a beautiful brackish water 180 gallon, months ago I decided let's slowly convert them back to fresh, which took a few months, not a big deal, and transition them into the 375 because they were originally got for the 2000. I thought they, just their black and white coloration, I thought they looked perfect in this tank, but I don't want to put them in there. They're going to get eaten. They're too small, but the 375 makes entirely perfect sense for them. And the way this actually works is some of you guys might have seen that pump in the back. That's just pumping water up to this main aquarium, and then it simply overflows. You guys remember I did an entire tutorial of how I built this entire aquarium, plus its overflow system. Water just overflows through the weir we built, down to this tank, drains into this tank, and kind of just cycles through. There's no direct filtration on this because it's not needed. We're using the 2000 and just increasing its overall water volume, and then using the filter we built as well as the canister filter to filter the entire thing. The 375 and the 2000 kind of match. I mean, the everything in there is Aqua Decor, by the way, aquadecorbackgrounds.com. None of that is real. So this tank isn't really going to lead to any form of additional waste for the fish or for the aquarium or the filtration. But now you can see why I'm building bigger filters and whatnot. This has been planned for a while. It's not all that random, but they are doing fantastic in here. They're going to experience a much larger growth spurt. They would have did well in a 180, but knowing that I've been planning on this to do it for a few months now and kind of acclimating them, building the filter, that sort of thing, I gotta say, this is part of a very small fraction of a very much larger plan that I have that I'm currently working on. Eventually the piranha, the baby piranha, which just hid behind the rocks, are going in the 700. Now this brackish water tank is empty. The discus that were down there are now in their own aquarium in a new breeding tank for themselves. That means 3 of the 180s are going to be empty. I think that over time you guys are going to start to see some of the things that I'm planning, and I don't want to ruin it for you. I just kind of wanted to show you this video. With that said, we might as well talk about the discus as well. Hope you guys like this tank. I love it. I think it's absolutely amazing, especially when you first walk in. It's like one of the first things you see. This building is going to be repurposed eventually. The 700, the 2000, 375 are going to stay, and so will the fish. It's going to be kind of like a monster aquarium gallery, which is monster fish, and then you guys know a new building's coming, and that will be for much smaller fish and breeding and whatnot. But then I also have a visual, more of a display gallery I'm working on as well. Things will make sense in time, but of course I've been, planning and starting to try to execute on a lot of these ideas and things that I want to do. I think you guys are going to be absolutely floored for it, because this is just going to be, well, it will be absolutely phenomenal, and there's nothing more to say about that. Now, when it came to discus, you know that we had some pigeon bloods. But you also know that we had these blue ones. They're cobalts. They look fantastic in white, but the pigeon bloods would look a lot better against like a bluer background. So I went and got a really good color for the blue background, and they look absolutely gorgeous against it. Of course, this is a simple breeding tank. These guys are far more skittish than the other pair. They are eating and doing fine, but of course no signs of breeding just yet. Couple sponge filter. I don't want to poke around the tank too much because this area doesn't get much traffic, which is perfect for breeding, but a PVC pipe that I showed you guys how to build, a small heater in there just in case temperature in here drops, because this is more of like a utility room, quarantine room. You'll also remember that we had a flower horn up here. He was in there for darn near a year, just keeping filters cycled. I actually had a really good lifelong friend come over. His girlfriend's into fish. I knew that I didn't really have a place for the flower horn, but you know, I'm not just going to sell them or drop them off or give them away. It's always got to be the perfect moment for me to do that sort of thing. And anyways, I thought that was the perfect moment to say, hey, do you want them? And they were shocked that I would even consider giving it to them. And that's when I knew that it was going to go through a really good home. And but I don't sell my fish. I don't do anything like that. I don't do giveaways. I make sure they have the right homes with people with the right intentions. And that's where they go. But nonetheless, these tanks are looking absolutely phenomenal, just gorgeous fish. We'll see what happens long term with these guys. But I got to admit, setting up these two little breeding tanks has certainly inspired and put a fire under me to want to do my plans a little bit sooner and a little bit faster. The downside is simple though. A lot of this cannot happen until like January-ish. Has nothing more than to do with availability of what I'm trying to get and do there, so we'll see what happens long term. But yeah, just kind of tinkering around out here, moving closer to my end goal, which I'm not really going to announce much more, perhaps on members only. I'll definitely make a video and just tell them everything, but if you want to follow along with that and know everything first, go ahead and join the membership. If not, I'll make videos on it eventually. But with them, I just like grabbing my phone and I can just talk to them whenever I want. It's so much easier that way. So anyways, that was it. I mean, I just think it's a cool tank. I thought it was worth filming, but I have been working on a lot of other things, which means the lack of videos recently. I've also been making a lot of TikToks lately. That's been really easy. I think here shortly, the baby piranha I've gotten to size and healthy enough to go into bigger ones, but we'll see. I might try that shortly. I'm terrified to do it though, because if I'm wrong, they'll be decimated. If I'm right, it's going to be absolutely amazing, but we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, I could feed these guys heavily and then add in the babies. Then they have a chance of survival and we'll go from there. I think they'll be just fine. Anyways, I got lots to work on. Hope you enjoyed today's video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Oh, and one of the other things I was thinking about is I need to start going live again. Just because I have these ideas and then I'll think about it for a few weeks, I'll change my mind, but then I come back to it months or years later, so maybe I should start bouncing a lot of things off you guys and see where we go from there. Let me know in the comment section below if you want me to see me going live on YouTube once again. It's been a couple of years since I did, but we did it a few times in the past and it was an absolute blast, so let me know what you think. See you guys shortly.